And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session. Let's scan for the setups of the week ahead. My name is Daniel Sinek, and I'm greeting you today on this cold December morning or almost afternoon here, December 14, out of our beautiful office here in Montreal. And before we get into it, let me ask you guys a question. Where are you calling in from today? And I do see we do have a full room, which is awesome. Guys, please put your location if you can into the Q&A box. Yes, of course, always there. From Cyprus, sunny, but cold. Probably not as cold as here. Who else do we have? John from Fort Collins, Colorado. That's probably a cold place too, depending on how far you're up in the mountains. Keith from West Palm Beach. Hey, Keith, how are you? Nice to see you. Chris from Northern California. Gerald from where? Santa Fe. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Jan from Kamloops, BC, Canada. Awesome. Ziggy aus Wien. Hi, Ziggy, wie geht's? Tom from Roseville, California. Cold and rainy today. Okay. Edda from Hamburg. Yes, I will be in Hamburg very soon, heading to Germany on Tuesday. Clifton from Arbor, Michigan. Gregory from Idaho. Hey, Gregory, nice to see you. Perfect. And yes, the recordings will be sent out. And Greg is referring to the recording of yesterday's masterclass. Yes, Greg, we're just cutting them a little bit. They will be sent out this week for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your location. Let's get into it. So, as mentioned, my name is Daniel Sinek, and yeah, I'm the guy here on the left-hand side. And I am joined today by Homa and Niklas. Homa being my partner in crime. We have created trading indicators about 10 years ago, built over 700 trading indicators for clients all over the world. We've built trading tools, trading scanners, trading dashboards, and our objective is to, help you guys make better trading decisions, whatever that will take. So this is our objective and why we have created trading indicators. And one pivotal moment, and also in our history, was the arrival, should I say it, of Niklas. So Niklas has become our lead developer, and he's been instrumental behind many of our latest developments. So, and also Niklas will be in the chat here today. So we do have a full house, not just from you guys out there, but also from our trading indicators team. We believe very much so in technical analysis, which is basically a pattern analysis, a mathematical analysis of your price chart. We believe that trading should be simple and is simple, but you need to use the right tools. And today we're going to show you one such tool which we have created to simplify, to streamline your trading process. And of course, guys, this session is for you. If you have questions, if you want to see any symbols or have specific requests, please don't hold back. Put your questions into the Q&A box. All right. So, and also a quick reminder that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right. So, also a quick reminder that this session, first of all, is being recorded, and the recording will be available shortly after. But not just the recording of this webinar. In fact, we record all our webinars. And another recording which I would like to maybe point out to you is the recording of our latest Tech Talk, where we unveiled our brand new trading indicator, our newest addition to our arsenal, which is Volume IQ, a volume profile indicator, but not just any, a sophisticated volume profile indicator, which makes it very easy to interpret what is actually going on in the markets. So we're super proud of it. If you have not watched it yet, you can rewatch it, and it should be a watch it here, not register, at tradingindicators.com/volume. And Homa or Niklas, please put this link into the Q&A box or the chat box. I should say. Okay, so that's that. Also, what we're going to do today is going to be an interactive scanning session. We recommend that you follow along. And the best way to follow along is just to redo the steps the way I will be doing them in this webinar. And if you do not have access to our Liquidity View dashboard yet, which is what we are going to be using today, I encourage you to get a 1-week trial access of it. Simply go to tradingindicators.com/view. And the cool thing is that once you are registering for your trial access, you will get instant access. So this will take about a minute. And once you have it, you can create a user account, you can log in, and you can follow along. And of course, should you decide to stay on board beyond the 7 days trial, you're not going to be charged today if you go for the trial access, you can select between one of our monthly or yearly options. And these are without any contract. You can cancel at any time. And should you have questions, you can always also reach out to us. info@tradingindicators.com is the email address. All right, so with that, let's see what else we have. Oh yes, our ebook. If you have not downloaded yet, I encourage you to also download completely for free our ebook on what's called the Power of 3, our most powerful setups using Liquidity IQ. And all of these setups are what we call reward focused, meaning these are all high reward and low risk setups. They require a tight stop loss, and you may get stopped out, but if you are right, you will win a multiple of what you have risked for your trade. So I encourage you to check it out if you have not done so yet. And Nicholas or Homer, please also put this link into the chat box. All right. And one last thing before we really get into it, we love your feedback. The more the merrier. The more feedback we get, the more features we can integrate into our dashboard. And here are some examples of what we've done in the past based on your feedback. So we created new scans, new filters, we added new symbols. We have an indication of the setup duration directly in the dashboard. We've improved our live mode feature, better error handling and reporting. We have trade notes now. We have German language support for our German clients. And as Gert pointed out, this is my second webinar already this morning. I've been on another webinar at 8 a.m., if you believe it, quite early here for me, for a German broker called CapTrader. And for those, I showcased the German version of this dashboard. We have dictation functionality to dictate your trade notes. And as of tomorrow, we will have an improved Liquidity IQ indicator on the dashboard where, so my nose is running, where we improved on a parameter which allows you to hide and show labels on the chart. And how this one works, we're going to discover it together today as well. So all this to say, if you have any suggestions, please don't hold back, put them into the Q&A box. All right, so let's get into it. Market review. So interesting week we had. And you know what? Perhaps a quite predictable week. First of all, we pointed out in our Option Alerts newsletter, which came out last Sunday, 6 days ago, that we may see some whipsaw, some, meandering in the SPY. And guess what happened last week? Exactly that. And, this is also not very surprising because I showcased this on the Lunch and Learn session. When was it? On Tuesday. That historically speaking, the SPY in the beginning of December, this is where we are still right now, more or less, tends to, and this is this white line here, initially correct a little bit, go a little bit up and down before it really takes off towards the end of December. And I found this is a very interesting statistic. This is based on seasonality. By the way, guys, we have big plans to add seasonality to our dashboard. So this is already in the works. It's a bigger topic because it requires us to get much more historical data than we're having right now in the dashboard. But I think these insights can be so powerful. So I'm super curious to see if history will repeat itself this December. So what we are seeing right now, we're going to look at the chart in a second, is that, prices went down a little bit from the peak of last week. This is exactly what you see here. This white line is the historical average. So price go down a little bit before, this is all December here, before they really take off to the upside. So super interesting. I'm curious to see if this will repeat itself this year. So we are currently in this down phase here. I expect it to come to an end soon, probably mid next week, if this is any prediction for the future, before we see a big push to the upside. And, people speculate, why is that? Why does it first go down, historically speaking, then up in a rush? Well, the downside actually is, we've also explained in our option newsletter, the great market commentary by the option professor, is that many hedge funds and funds, they are booking profits early December for the year. And this is perhaps what will cause this initial correction to the downside before then it takes off again. Who knows what the real reason is, but I find this super interesting. And seasonality is something which you can expect heading into 2025 in our dashboard. We're super excited about that. All right, so with this, let's go on to the dashboard. Let's check it out. All right, and of course, just a reminder, if you have questions, please don't hold back.
Daniel, we actually have a question that I think once you get to the dashboard, it's a good time to cover it so he can follow along. Moshe wants to know, I think he's referring to the dashboard here. He cannot get the chart to change from range candles. And Moshe, please correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not with respect to the dashboard. So could that have been possible here? There isn't even ranged candles here.
No.
I think you might be talking about something else.
Yeah, Moshe, maybe clarify which platform exactly you are referring to. We can get to that. Okay, but what I wanted to show you, guys, this is our developer version, by the way, of the dashboard. This is not what you will see, but I'm going to use this one to give you a little preview of what we are thinking. So we have so many ideas about this dashboard. Some take a bit longer to implement. And one thing that you can also expect in 2025 are statistics. A button like this, which once clicked, will give you some insights as to how well some of the setups that we're discussing in these sessions have worked out, historically speaking. So, just another puzzle piece to help you make better trading decisions. So we're excited about this as well. In addition to seasonality, oh my God, so many things. I have to really, pace myself before we implementing these. But all these things are gonna come in 2025. But what I wanted to show you guys is this new tweak to Liquidity IQ, our indicator here on the chart. So it's this indicator which draws these levels, and there is a setting. This first one here, show resistance/support labels. So when switched on, this is the default. You see these little labels on these levels here. And it used to be, and still in the version that you have right now, it still is, if you are disabling this setting, not only the label would disappear, but also this box around. So that was a bug, which we fixed. And now in this new version, as I mentioned, available as of tomorrow on your dashboard, it will just hide the label, so it will keep this box at the end. Of course, this box being very important to see what is the range of this box visually, of this resistance zone or of this support zone. Okay, so that's a new thing. But for now, I'm going to go back to our actual dashboard. So view.tradingindicators.com. There we go. And I don't know why, for some reason now it defaults to German for me. And we put this to English. There we go. All right, so let's go in here. Perfect. Okay, so it's loading up, and we're going to pull up the SPY and then the QQQ and then the Russell afterwards, just to get a bit of an idea of what's going on in the market. Okay, so let's start with the SPY. And I think it's always interesting, and I challenge myself sometimes, before I even try to look at the chart, of course, it's right there, but just, looking at the scanner here to see what's going on. And I believe this gives us a very kind of unbiased view of what the stats are about the symbol. So try it perhaps one day. So here we can see, okay, this is the SPY. We are currently, of course, we are in an uptrend. You can see it here as per our MA Rush indicator for 399 trading days, more than a year, the SPY has been in an uptrend. Okay. The last liquidity capture event at resistance was 63 bars ago, and we broke above resistance 62 bars ago. Well, that's interesting. All right. Trends are aligned for 27 trading days, and we are having a minor pullback, a level 1 pullback. Okay, well, this doesn't sound super surprising, because we all know what's going on in the markets. But let's just look at the chart now. How did this manifest itself? So I'm going to click on SPY. All right. And what do we see? Okay, uptrend. Of course, uptrend. Huge uptrend. We did break above resistance at this point here, 62 bars ago. It coincided with a liquidity capture around the same time, which happened 63 bars ago. And we currently have a level 1 pullback. And if you look at trend radar, you can see it here. One row is reddish. And exactly this is what's happening here. And you know what? This kind of looks very similar to the chart which I showed you earlier. Look at this one. Going back here. So we are here. This was last week. Hold back a little bit. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more on Monday or Tuesday. And then things perhaps will really take off. And if this repeats itself, we are going to see all-time highs in December this year. So I'm super curious to see if this actually will repeat itself. All right, perfect. Okay, so that's the SPY. So here, a bit of a pullback, very minor. Let's have a look at the QQQ, the NASDAQ ETF. There we go. All right. So here, also just by looking at the stats, long break 11 bars ago, 11 trading days ago. Bullish for 394 days and no pullback whatsoever. Also not very surprising if you know what happened in the market, because we did make all-time highs on Friday. It was just, finished out flat for Friday, but we did make all-time highs. Price pulled back a little bit intraday afterwards. The nice way to see it is if you switch over here to our live chart and go perhaps to the 5 minutes, you can see, yes, we opened up, we can put it extended hours on, but we opened up at a record high. Price made an all-time high here, then a bit of a pullback, and price went up again to finish the day more or less up as ±0. All right, so that's what happened there. Now let's have a quick look at the Russell. And you know what? One more thing about the QQQs and the SPY. It used to be that the SPY was kind of the front runner a little bit, and the QQQs a bit of a laggard. So they, it took them a bit longer to do to follow suit. And once again, if we use the same paradigm, if the SPY is a bit ahead of the QQQ, well, what we may see in the QQQs is a bit of a pullback. So this was perhaps, this was the SPY making all-time highs last week. Now the QQ made all-time highs this week. So perhaps you're going to see a bit of a retracement. Who knows? I mean, at least if you follow these patterns, you can make all these kind of conclusions. I technically believe we base our trades purely on the technical analysis, but I still find it fascinating to see how the different symbols are correlated to some extent. All right, so real quick, the Russell IWM, iShares Russell 2000. So the Russell, and I'm not sure if they actually made an all-time high, but did we make it? Let me just quickly see. Barely. Yes, we did. A couple of weeks ago, the Russell made an all-time high. It hit. Look how amazing this was. This was the previous all-time high back in, oh boy, 2021 at 244, give or take. So lots of trading days went into the day. We finally made it up back to this zone, and just magically, price once again bounced off this level. Just like there must be something to it. This 244 level, we bounced off. We made an all-time high by a couple of cents. We bounced back, and now we see a bit of a retracement back to this broken resistance level, which is acting as support. I see it here. Price went above resistance, retraced back to the broken resistance level, acting as support now. Price jumped up again, all-time highs. Now the pullback again, perhaps once again towards this level. It'll be interesting to see if we nearing this level next week, which could be an interesting opportunity to perhaps enter long into the Russell at a better entry price. All right, so these was a bit of a market overview of what's going on with the major indices. Now, but now let's scan for our actual setups. So for this, once again, we are going to focus on high reward and low risk setups. All of these require a fairly tight stop loss. The idea is to find a setup where the profit potential will outweigh the risk by a multiple. Yeah, but it's a tight stop loss, and of course you might get stopped out. That's just part of the game. We're gonna focus one setup at a time. So we're gonna look at all three setups plus our fourth setup. We're going to create a hot list based on the most interesting candidates. And then at the end, we're going to go through our hot list to, clarify our trading plan. If we are deciding to execute on that one, what the trade plan should be. All right. And all of these will be high reward and low risk, exactly here in this quadrant of this diagram. But we're going to start off with a setup which we recently added, which is our pullback setup. Healthy pullback setup. And this is a setup which is purely, well, let's say 80% based on our trend radar indicator. You can see it down here below the price chart. And, as trend traders, we love to enter in the direction of the trend. I guess that's what trend trading is all about. You enter in the direction of the trend. You're not contrarian. You want to enter in the direction of the trend. But there are good trend entries and there are bad ones. A bad one is to enter when everything is overextended, when things are too expensive, and when there's too much risk on the table. So like, for example, here, price is so much above the moving averages, the mean, or here. Not a good idea. You want to wait until price pulls back towards the mean. Yeah? We're still in a valid uptrend. We didn't violate any technicals in this uptrend, but the price now has become much, much more affordable. And this is exactly what we're going to look for. So a stock which is trending up for a long time, yet it's recently pulled back as per our trend radar indicator. So that's what we're going to look for as step number one. All right, so back to the dashboard. There we go. I'm going to clean out everything. All right, back to our 4,922 symbols. And by the way, guys, another improvement which is coming in 2025 will be, we're going to add about 3,000 new symbols to the whole mix. So we're putting in the infrastructure. I'm talking to our team every single day to see what's going on there. It's going to be a 2025 thing because at the same time, and this goes back to seasonality, a bit of background information, we will also pull in much more historical data. So right now, everything starts, as far as our symbols are concerned, from 2017. So the first bar you're going to see on the chart is, well, in 2017. So if you go all the way back to the end, that's the first one you'll see. January 2017. This is not enough for any seasonality analysis, I believe. I want to go back at least, if available, of course, 30 years, so we can see any patterns which emerged over those years. So one of the changes we're going to do is to pull in much more historical data to be able to do this kind of seasonality analysis. So this is why it's taking a while. There's a lot of changes that need to be made to make this happen. But I think once it's there, it's going to be really cool. Okay, so we're here in our scanner. All filters are removed. Now, the first setup we're going to scan for, we said, is our pullback setup. And this pullback setup is based on our trend radar indicator down here. And what we're going to look for, and we're going to start with bullish stocks, which are currently having a healthy pullback. So what we want to see, if I go all the way to the end here, you can also click this button all the way to the end, is a stock like this, where we are in a long-term uptrend. See this last green line here in trend radar? That's an uptrend. So the long term is up. But recently, we have a little red patch at the end. And if you count down the rows of this red patch, how many rows can we count here? 1, 2, 3. 3 rows down. That's a level 3 pullback. And if we open up IWN or scanner, what will we see in this pullback come? pullback column here. 3, a level 3 pullback within an overarching uptrend. Perfect. So let's try to find these ones. And in this case, just to start it off, let's see what we're going to find. We're going to look for level 4 pullbacks, meaning all first 4 rows need to be red for this. So Alcoa is one example. Level 4 pullback. And if you look here, yes, 4 rows down are red. AB, level 4 pullback. And you can see it a little bit at the end, but yes, 4 rows here are red, and so forth. And simply by selecting this pullback filter here, we narrow down our universe of symbols from 4,922 to only 500. So we eliminated 90% of our symbols. Wow, that's pretty good, but still too many. I don't want to go through 501 stocks to find the ones that are interesting. So let's put another filter on. What else can we do? Maybe we're just gonna play around a little bit. Maybe you're gonna focus on stocks where the stock has at least $25. We don't want to trade penny stocks. So we're gonna add the price filter on here. Price greater than $25, for example. Done. Now we're down to 320 symbols. Let's also put a volume filter on. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, add my volume column. If you don't see it, you can enable it here in your column configurator. You click on it, and let's say we want to see stocks which have at least 1 million shares traded on average. All right, click, done. Now we're down to 119 symbols. Perfect. And by the way, guys, maybe something you didn't know about this dashboard. Let's have a look at this column here, the volume column, the one I just added. So you can see it's if there's a filter on it. What will happen if we hide this column from our scanning view, yet there's a filter on it? What do you think will happen? Well, the filter will stay applied to it. So if I hide it, so I hide my volume column here. Look at this number here, 119, it will stay the same. So even though this column is no longer shown, the filter still applies. And if you want to see which are the filters currently applied for the visible and hidden columns, what you can do is you click on the column configurator here and you look for the filter icon right next to this column here. You can see volume does have this filter icon showing you, yes, there's a filter currently applied to volume.
Daniel?
Yes.
If you could just go through that process of showing how to enable pullbacks, because we had a question from Gerd. He said, is the pullback functionality only available in a pro version?
That's right. Only in the pro version.
Oh, it is. Okay. I
Yeah.
misanswered that, Gerd, and my mistake.
And what this relates to is we have a basic version of this dashboard available for some clients in Germany who have also a brokerage account of a certain broker. It's basically a stripped down version which only scans through 1,400 symbols and doesn't have any of these advanced features enabled.
Okay, sorry about that, Gerd.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so we're down to 119 stocks. All right. But I want to do one more thing. I want to, first of all, focus only on stocks which are also bullish in the long term. So Trend Radar, even though you can see here, okay, the last row is green, it doesn't mean that this is actually a long-term bullish stock. Here's an example of this. Look at this one here. So Trend Radar shows you a green column here. We do have a level 4 pullback, all nice and dandy. But once you zoom out, you will soon realize, oh boy, this stock actually is in the long term quite bearish. You see this here? It's overall bearish. So how can we figure this one out? How can we eliminate these kind of candidates if we don't want this kind of scenario? Well, we can focus on our MA Rush column here. MA Rush is this trend indicator on your price chart, which tells you, hey, is this symbol rather bearish or is it bullish? Yeah. And in the scanner, you can actually filter for these trends as well. What we can do here is we can use the filter next to MA Rush and tell this filter, hey, only show me long-term bullish symbols. I'm going to click here on bullish. And once done, now we have 4 filters enabled. We're now down to 114 stocks. Okay, we didn't eliminate too many, just a couple. Okay, so 114 stocks. And then what I will do is I will simply now sort by trend duration. Do you see this number here right next to MA rush? That's our trend duration. And this tells us, for example, for this particular one, for Sensora Inc., that this symbol has been bullish as per MA rush on the chart for 1,157 trading days. That's a long time. That's probably like 5 years, or maybe 4 years. A long, long time. And so if you were to scroll back, I'm not going to do it right now, but if we were to scroll back, you'll see that the MA rush bullish label on the chart would come in probably around 2018 or something. So a long time ago. And clearly, this symbol is very bullish. But recently, we did have a healthy pullback. Look at this. And if I were to draw in some trend lines here, just connecting the lows and the highs, what do we see? Just go a little bit further back so we can, well, it's not going to be the prettiest trend line, but whatever. We can see it's a bit expanding, but we see two things. Number one is we do have this level 4 pullback. And number two is we're actually very nearby this lower end of this trend channel. And this is exactly where you want to enter. You want to enter at this point because it's cheaper. Okay? All right, so let's say we are considering this stock to enter. Where would we place our stop? All right, several possibilities. The first one is to enable our liquidity IQ indicator on the chart to see what are nearby levels. Okay, let's have a quick look. And we do see, yes, there is, for example, a support level right here, which also coincides with the swing low. So this could be an interesting entry point. And if I just do one quick thing, guys, I'm going to enable our labels. We can see, yes, this support zone around level 220 to 216 in this area here. This could be a good, sensible level for a stock, maybe for a stop loss, maybe even a bit below this at this red line here, perhaps at 215. So definitely this could be an interesting candidate for a long trade, because if this uptrend should remain technically valid, we want to see that this low here will not exceed this one here, because we want to make higher lows and higher highs, ideally in a healthy uptrend. If this is broken all the way to here, I guess this uptrend is not so healthy anymore. And this would be a logical point for your stop loss. So I like this one. Let's keep an eye on this one for our analysis towards the end. So I'm going to add this one to our watch list. So here, I'm going to go to my drop down, create watch list. I'm going to call the setups 2024, December 14. All right. So setups, colon 2024, December 14. All right, and we're going to add this particular stock to our watch list. There we go. Done. Edit. Perfect. Let's check the next one. And I can already tell, without even looking at this particular stock, that this one is probably not an ideal candidate for a long entry at this moment. And do you know how I see this? I see this because what's written here in our Liquidity IQ setup column. It says short bounce. So what does short bounce means? It means that we are actually trading right below a resistance level. We may see a bounce to the short side. A deeper correction might be in play, deeper than this level 4 pullback. And if you open this up, hopefully this will prove me right. I didn't rehearse this. I click on it and we actually do see it. Okay, we just went below this resistance level. There's obviously some relevance here. We are below this resistance level, and I believe a bit of extra resistance might be in play, or at the minimum, price may have difficulties powering above this resistance level here. All right, so this is why it says short bounce here. And one more, Arthur Gallagher & Co. Another interesting one. Here, we do have a level 4 pullback. Actually, I like this one quite a bit. Level 4 pullback, a nice uptrend. It's not broken. And in addition to all this, we are trading near the support level, the support zone here. So that's a third factor which comes into our checklist. Not just a level 4 pullback, but we are also at a technically relevant level here. So I like this one as well. So I'm going to add this one to our watch list for today. And perhaps one more, Cintas Corporation. Remember this one, guys? Who of you attended our Lunch and Learn session on Tuesday? This is the stock we picked there as our trade of the week on Tuesday. Let's have a quick look what we've done at that point. So here we said, and not much has happened since Tuesday. So Tuesday, when was Tuesday? That was Monday is the 9th. This was Tuesday. Yeah, we finished the day at around 209. Now we're trading at 211. Well, this stock didn't move much, but this setup here that we identified Tuesday is still very much valid. We are still in the level 4 pullback. We see early signs that price may now continue in the direction of the overarching trend, which is up for 1,128 trading days. And we even plotted out our trade plan on Tuesday. As you can see it here, our stop loss just below the support zone, target near the all-time high. This gives us reward to risk ratio of 2.29. And if we even did some extra math, if we were to limit 5% of our risk capital, which we hypothetically assume to be $10,000, then we would buy at this point 68 shares. And that's, finding the right setup is one thing, and being right about the direction that a stock will take, that's one thing. But what is just as important is your position sizing. And I don't know, hopefully you don't do it, but I hope that you will not arbitrarily pick a number of stocks. Say, hey, I trade 50 stocks or 100, whatever feels like a round number. This is typically not a good idea because you want to position size so that if you get stopped out, you will only lose what your risk capital is on that trade. And perhaps if your trade plan or your trading philosophy says, I don't want to risk more than 5%, let's say, on any given trade, well, then you will have to pick the position size so that if you get stopped out at your predetermined stop loss level, you will only lose this 5% in the worst case. Yeah, so it's super important. In this case, 68 shares, had we bought this on Tuesday at the price of Tuesdays, would have just given us this exact risk amount on that trade. All right. Nicholas, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we got a couple questions. We had one from Kevin. He said, basically, the gist was when we made a price minimum in the filters, how do we know we're not missing out on potential big winners if we're only looking at stocks over $20 or something like this?
I just arbitrarily picked it. I just don't want to trade penny stocks, so we can just remove it here again. We have more symbols now in our hit list, and if we sort by price, of course you can sort everything. All I wanted to do is to perhaps avoid stocks like this one here. I'm not sure what this one is, but it's just a bit too cheap for me. It's my philosophy. I typically don't trade these kind of very low price stocks because it's a bit more of a more risky approach, I would say. But hey, this is my trading philosophy. Everybody has its own, and of course, these ones can be hugely profitable if you're right. Absolutely, because you may say, hey, it's a very cheap stock, and it is not unheard of that a stock like this, you'll see what happened here. Yeah, can be very jumpy, and if you're right, you might be really, really right because it can go up 100%, 150%, or whatever it might be. So yeah, but also, of course, it can go down this much. So this goes both ways. This is just a matter of preference.
Thank
Any
you,
other
Daniel.
questions?
Yeah, we have a couple more, and we'll get through them. We have one from Greg. Well, this was a suggestion. He said it would be a cool feature for the chart to be able to pop out because if you have multiple monitors, you might want to see two things at once.
Yeah, Greg, this is noted, by the way. I think you said it last time as well. It's not the easiest thing to do. Everything is possible, but the only way to do this within a browser, this runs in the browser, right, is to create or load the chart somehow on a different tab here. So you have it on a different tab, so you can put it onto a different screen, let's say, and then be able to somehow synchronize whenever you click on the scanner on one tab, it will also load the chart on the other tab. So it's a bit more technically challenging, and we're looking into this, but we don't have a solution for this yet.
Thanks. And Ivan wants to know if he uses MetaTrader 4, will this still work?
MetaTrader 4, I'm not really sure but this is a web-based dashboard. So this runs on our server, on our website. If you're on MT4, maybe qualify this question. What exactly are you meaning? Will this work? Will the indicator work? Yes. So if you get our indicators or if you purchase them, let's say Liquidity IQ or MA Rush, these will absolutely work on MT4. And they work quite nicely.
Perfect.
So
And
that
he
was the
also
question.
wanted to know, does it work with Forex, the dashboard? Yes. And he wanted to look at British pound, Japanese yen. Maybe we could look at that later.
Yeah.
And David wanted to know, what are the minimum amount of daily bars for a stock to be in the dashboard?
I'm not sure. I know we do have a couple of filters in the dashboard, like internal filters, which will not show a symbol if, let's say, it hasn't updated in a week or something. If the latest bar, for whatever reason, maybe that stock has stopped trading or it's been taken off the exchange. If the latest available daily bar is older, I believe, than a week, we will not even show it in the scanner. As for the minimum bars, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a year or half a year. I would need to look this up. But I think there is some kind of minimum.
Thanks, Daniel. And last two questions.
Yeah.
One from Josephine. Was the short bounce for CCJ?
Short bounce for CCJ. Yeah, it was for chemical.
Perfect. And finally, the last question. How do the statistics work?
They're not implemented yet, so we don't. I can't say. This is still something we are working on because the idea is to not just have a statistic, let's say, for a simple let's go here, a simple short bounce trade or a long bounce or whatever it might be. Because what we do here in our scanning is we always consider additional factors as well. Like, what is the overarching trend doing? Are we in a healthy pullback scenario? Some other stuff as well. So everything needs to come together just for us to consider something as a trade. So we want to put all these things into the statistics and then show them to you. So we're not at this point yet. That's that's future work.
Perfect. We're all clear.
Perfect. And yeah, Janti, I'm gonna check your email in a bit. Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. So let's move on. Next setup. I was just looking at some questions that came in. Okay, so that was our healthy pullback. Now we found some interesting candidates, but now let's move on. Let's go back to our classics. The bounce setup, zone break and zone break retrace setups. Let's start with bounce. I really need to fix this animation here for our next session. The bounce setup is as the name suggests. Price approaches either support or perhaps resistance, and then it will bounce off these levels towards the middle, in between support and resistance. And we see it here. Price approached the support level, it bounced off towards the middle in between. And the idea here is that if you have such a setup, you will put your stop loss below this support level or above this resistance level if you're looking for a short bounce, giving you, once again, a high reward and low risk situation. All right, so how can we find these setups? And as you know, this is super easy with the dashboard. So I'm going to clean out our filters just by clicking on this yellow button here. By the way, if you have a filter on, this button here will automatically appear, which is your indication. Hey, instead of taking all these filters off one by one, you can just take them all off in one shot by clicking on this button here. Get rid of all the filters in just one shot. So click here, all the filters are gone, and we're back to our status quo at 4,922 symbols. All right, so bounce setup. How can we find bounce setups? So stocks which are, go here, which are currently trading, and this is not the oh my God. So this is exactly why I use the price filter sometimes. Look what happened here. And this is a stock. Oh boy. So this stock basically is at the brink of bankruptcy, as it seems. Oh my God, what happened here? Let me just quickly, out of curiosity, see what happened to this stock. Boy. Jesus. This one went down from 240. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe somebody out there knows what happened to this particular symbol now to 3 cents. Okay. So that's obviously a stock which did not have an upside bias, even though I sometimes say stocks on average, and the keyword is average, rather tend to go up more than they go down. Of course, this one is the rule to this exception. So let me find a better one. I'm going to sort by symbol here. Let's find a long bounce setup. Let's say this one here. Perfect. So long bounce means price is trading near a support level. You can see it here. This red line below is our support zone, and price is just near the support zone. And you can see it here in the scanner too, long bounce 2. And the 2 stands for, hey, this stock has been in a long bounce situation for the last 2 trading days. Let me see if there's another one here. This one here, long bounce 1. Price is trading near this support level. So you get the point. But how can we filter for this? Well, very easy. We're simply going to go up once again to our liquidity IQ column here, and we will enable simply long bounce. And once done, we can see, okay, out of our 4,900 stocks, 664 are currently in a long bounce situation. All right, not bad, but still too many to go through. So what we can do now is to apply additional filters to narrow this further down. And one thing I always like to do is to focus on stocks which are, in addition to being near support level, they are also in a long-term uptrend. So not like this one here, which obviously is in some kind of downtrend. We want things to go up and to be near support. So how do we do this? We're going to go to our MA Rush column here, and we will select bullish stocks down to 159 symbols now. Great. And if you, in addition to this, also put a price filter on, say this, down to 999 stocks now, and perhaps also a volume filter. And of course, once I click this yellow button here, also our volume filter, which we had previously on, was removed. So let's say over 1 million shares traded. Okay, so now down to 42 stocks. Not bad. What we can do now is to sort by the stocks, for example, which have been bullish for the longest time. And one thing we're going to see here is, for example, Lilly, Ozempic, has been correcting sharply. Not very surprising. It's been parabolic for a long, long time, making all-time highs, almost going up to 1,000. Corrected deeply, went up again, made even all-time, an even higher high by a bit, and then another deep correction. And this is where we are right now. So if we zoom in a little bit here, we can see we are trading near this support level. It's not the cleanest setup because this support didn't hold here exactly. Price went actually below before it came back up. And now once again, we are trading near the support level. What I believe what's happening with the stock is we're going to see a longer phase of a correction, which is completely normal after such a bullish move. I believe we're going to see some sort of bounce, but it might be limited in upside. But certainly an interesting one. If you're willing to place a wider stop loss, because, at least below this level here, where price was previously below the support level at 713, maybe, this could be an interesting candidate to see. Okay, in the medium term, or even short term, we're going to see a bounce at least towards the middle, in between the support zone and this one here, perhaps around 880. Actually, let me add this one to our watch list as well. All right, next one. KBR Inc. Long bounce for 2 days, trending up for 1,034 trading days. And we did have somewhat recently a liquidity capture. Oh, this is going to be a good filter too. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, kind of a bit similar to Lilly. Support didn't hold up exactly here. We broke it by a bit, came back up, and now down again. And now once again, we are trading near the support level. I believe, let's see. Yeah, so this is a stock where these deeper corrections, they tend to happen. We are in such a deeper correction now. And you know what? Once again, if you are willing to put a wider stop loss on this one, it could be an interesting idea to, bet on the fact that this stock will go or bounce off this level in between the middle, between support and resistance, perhaps around 262. If you can put your stop loss maybe at 56 or 55 even, perhaps a good candidate. All right, but let's do one more thing. Okay, so do you see this little label here, which says liquidity capture? This stands for a situation which is somewhat particular in the market. And this can happen at the support level, but also at the resistance level. And you can see it here. These are these shaded areas. And if these things happen near such a level, at least in our book, of course, it's agnostic. You can interpret it the way you want. But at least in our book, it may increase the likelihood that the stock is actually bouncing off this level. And we believe this is because, well, first of all, from a technical point of view, these are bars which are wicking into this area without breaking it. And these candles have abnormally high volume. And this could be interpreted as a sign where, for example, here, sellers are stepping in big quantities, in big sell block orders, preventing price from going any further. And we see a bounce in return. All right. And the same thing for a bounce or liquidity capture at the support level. Here, buyers are stepping in with big block orders, driving up the volume being traded at this level, which can be a sign that, price will bounce off this level. So let's do one more thing. Let's filter 4 stocks, which are not only bullish, which not only have a long bounce, trading over 1 million shares and are above $10, but also which have had a liquidity capture at the last candle at current levels. Okay, so now we're talking. We're down to 6 stocks. Oh, let's see the first one. And I don't know this one. KLA 10 Core Corp. Okay. I mean, once again, not the cleanest because we had a bunch of liquidity captures here, but you can see here at our last bar, we do have this shaded area. We have the label here, liquidity capture. It is a high volume bar, which wicked into this level, but didn't break it. Not the cleanest setup. Let me see the second one here. Viking Therapeutics. This one perhaps is a bit more interesting. Here, and Nicholas, one note perhaps what we can also add to this logic, now that I think of it, because that's what we use in day trading all the time, is to look at the candle size of this one here. Because ideally, and maybe this is just an intuition right now, I'd like to see a bigger candle with a long wick, wicking into this level, and which has high volume at the same time. And I believe this is could be an even more interesting scenario. We kind of have it here. So a longer candle, it wicked into this area, price jumped off again, and we did have this liquidity capture. So this definitely could be an interesting candidate if we believe that, hey, this could result into a bounce to the upside towards the center in between support and resistance. I'm going to add this one as well to our list. All right. Okay, not bad. Do we have any questions at this point?
Let me take a look here, Daniel, 1 second. So we had for Greg Burns, he said, oh, the reason for that pharma company is they totally shut down operations. That's why the stock dropped.
I guess that will make your stop price drop. Yeah.
And Moshi says, oh, this is why he likes our indicators because statistics are the foundation. It's great. From Gerd, when I set scan IQ. So Daniel, maybe you can take a look here at Gerd's question. He says when he sets in scan IQ.
I'll get to this later on. I think this is more like a symbol request. We're going to check it out.
Sure. Yep. And then we have 2 other symbol requests. And finally, from anonymous user with trend radar, the pullback in the chart with levels 1, 2, 3, or 4. Do you think that each pullback level might determine or predict how far the stock is then going to rise afterwards?
No, I don't think so. It just shows you that this stock currently pulled back. Obviously, you can also see it directly on the chart. Hey, this obviously pulled back quite a bit, but let me just maybe open this one here. So we are in an uptrend. We did pull back recently down. It's visible on the chart, but what the real power comes in is you can scan for these pullbacks because you don't know which stock currently pulled back to this level, and perhaps which stock, in addition to all this, is also near a support level. This could be another scan. Let me quickly put this one on. Remove all the scanners. And see how fast it is to try out things. So I'm gonna do it one more time. Pull back as per trend radar. Now we can see it, and what you can do, for example, is to move this a little bit over. So here, see level 4 pullback, and we are trading near a support level. So a long bounce setup, bang. And now we can perhaps focus on the ones which are also bullish at the same time, and we find this one here, Hartford Financials. Actually, that one came up in our scanning session and with the Germans as well this morning. So here we do have a level 4 pullback. We are in a long-term uptrend and we are near a support level. So check. So this is where the real power comes, and you can find these setups very easily. In fact, I'm going to add this one to our watch list.
And about watch list here, Dino, good segue. We had a question. Is it possible to just scan over a watch list instead of the whole universe of symbols?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can do, let's say you have maybe your 500 favorite symbols, whatever it might be. What you can do is you can create a watch list based on those symbols. And the easiest way to do it, so if you, for example, have this in Excel or some kind of text document, you can create a CSV file for it. If you watch our bootcamp, it will show you how this can be done. And then you simply create the watch list based on that file by clicking here on import. So this watch list will then have all these, let's say, 500 stocks that you are following in there. And then you can simply open up this watch list, whatever it might be. Let's see this one here, I'm just hypothetically clicking on this. Open up this watch list and just scan based on that watch list. Absolutely.
And I think
Okay.
we're good to continue, Daniel. We just had a mention from Kevin saying, oh, be careful with Lilly because they might get banned, some of their drugs, with the changes in administration.
Yeah, that's where your due diligence comes in. So betting on pharmaceutical companies, it's so dependent on the next trial, if it's successful or not. Will there be a ban or God knows what? So it's always a bit more risky if you bet on if you trade these kind of stocks. Absolutely, it's a good point.
Perfect.
Right, good.
Thanks, Daniel.
All righty. So going back to our slides, the next setup is the zone break setup, and then followed by the zone break retrace setup. Let's scan for these two at the same time today. So zone break, of course, is a setup where either support is broken to the downside or resistance is broken to the upside. And here the idea is that, once broken, we have either the abyss below or blue skies ahead when resistance is broken. And the breakout move will continue for quite some time in the breakout direction. So that's the zone break. And then, of course, zone break retrace is, well, the first step has a zone break. That's why these two things are related. But, and this is one of my favorite setups, oftentimes the market tries to fake you out. Of course, the market has no personality. There's no real trying. But oftentimes what happens is price initially goes up. I guess lots of people book their profits here, which makes the stock retrace back to the broken zone before that it really takes off again. So this is the zone break retrace setup. It can happen in the long direction, but also in the short direction. And oftentimes these are interesting setups to go along into this overarching long trend, if it's a resistance zone break retrace. All right, so back to our scanner. I'm going to drink some water. Lots of talking today. All right, so the filters are on. Perfect. And we're back to our 4,922 stocks. And at first, let's scan for symbols which are currently trading above their resistance level. And actually, before we scan, let me just find one for you real quick. Just by browsing through the scanner here. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Looking for a long break. See, if you're trying to find one on purpose, nothing will come up. Whatever. I'm going to scan for it. It makes it easier. So I'm going to go here to our Liquidity IQ setup column, and I will select long break. Once done, you can see all the stocks currently trading above their resistance level. For example, Costco. All right, if you look here, yes, Costco very nicely is trading above their resistance level. You can see it also here for how many bars, for how many trading days this symbol has been trading above its resistance level. You can see it here, 16 days. Or, what else do we have? German stock. And we discussed it this morning as well. This one is like the poster child of stocks trading above resistance. And oftentimes my key example when I say, hey, once there's a breakout move, once we break above resistance, we may see a huge follow through. And this is exactly what happened here. Of course, a hugely bullish stock. And, just one quick remark. Look what happened here. We did break above resistance. You can see it here. Price initially went up, but then pulled back. And where did it pull back to? Exactly to this broken resistance level, now acting as support. And then price really took off afterwards. So that's our zone break retrace. Okay, but of course, this one here, is miles away from its resistance level. This move is, as far as this setup is concerned, it's done. We're too late to the game. Of course, from a different point of view, you could argue, hey, we are in a level 2 pullback. maybe an interesting opportunity to go long here. But from a zone break perspective, that has passed. Okay, fine. But let's now focus on the stocks, which perhaps with a zone break did not happen that many trading days ago. So in this case, 121 trading days ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by this column here from low to high. And what we can see here is all the stocks which are currently having a zone break. And the first one that comes up is Arista Networks. Also a stock which we have had on our newsletter / trade of the day a couple of times, at least once, I remembered quite nicely. So we click on it and we see, yes, look at this. We just broke above this resistance level, and now we have blue skies ahead. Definitely an interesting candidate to potentially go long here. So I'm gonna put this on here as well, because this was also a decisive break, which I like. So I'm gonna go here and say, okay, add this one to our watch list. What else do we have? Broadcom. All right. Oh, huge move up. I guess earnings came in. A huge move above resistance. Here, I would be careful. We may see a gap fill in the weeks or days or weeks to come. We can see it here. We gapped up. Gaps tend to be filled. And if we believe that, hey, we may see a zone break retrace, well, this is one more reason why this may happen in this case, because this up gap might get filled over time. So for this, I'm not gonna follow with this one. This is interesting. What do we have here? Korea Telecom, KT. What do we have here? Also, well, bullish. Oh, this is actually, we didn't sort by the duration. Yeah, not the cleanest setup. Here we broke above resistance, moved up, retraced back to the broken zone, actually went below it, and now with early signs that this trend may continue. I'm gonna skip this one for now. But what I want to do is I will also sort by the duration of the trend. So bullish stocks only, and we filter by the duration. And and of course here, I'm gonna put another filter actually for this column, guys. Sorry, I'm a bit jumpy. We have actually two filters. You can see it here. So for example, we can say, hey, show me all the stocks which are currently in a long break, and not just and show me stocks where this long break happened at the current bar. So I select the second filter here. So long break and current bar. And now we can see only 5 or only 8 stocks survived this filter. And if we now then sort by duration, here we can see, okay, and that we had Broadcom, we did have Korean Telecom, we had Mesoblast. What's this one here? Yeah, we also broke above, not the cleanest setup. I'm going to skip this one. See, this level is really contested. Sempra Energy, yeah, the initial zone break, then below, now above again, also not the cleanest. Restoration Holdings, and so forth. So you get the point. Okay, any questions here, Nicholas?
I think we're good to continue, Daniel. We just check to make sure.
Nothing against Germany. Yeah. Yeah, there's no such filter there yet, Kevin, but we're going to plan to have the country of origin added to our list in addition to the sector and industry group. That's coming. So look out for this, Kevin.
Perfect. Then we're all good.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So yeah, no, we are improving this dashboard step by step, but this is definitely a good criteria, and we are working on getting the country as column here as well. So you can only focus on US stocks or Canadian stocks or Australian stocks or whatever you may trade. All right. So now the next setup was zone break retrace. So the stock broke above resistance and then came back down to it. All right. So once again, I'm going to clear our filters. We're back to our original number of symbols. And we're going to select now here zone break or long break retrace. Once done, we've filtered now down to only 49 stocks. So this is only 1% of our 4,900 stocks which survived this filter. It's very selective, as you can see. And if we, in addition to all this, also put on our bullish filter, obviously at 49, okay, this didn't make any change, which is not too surprising because to break above resistance or the highest level of resistance, a stock tends to be bullish from an MA rush point of view as well. Not always, but in most cases, which we had here. All right. So the first one here is Republic Services. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Nice zone break here. Price went all the way up to 220-ish and then pulled back to 208. Now we are smack down the middle of this broken resistance level here, which is now hopefully acting as support. So this could be an interesting candidate. Also, Trend Radar is showing us a level 4 pullback while the overarching trend is long, and MA Rush, of course, shows the stock as bullish for 1,101 trading days. Interesting. So yeah, definitely interesting. So I'm going to add this to our list. All right, and perhaps one more, Global Partners LP. Oh, this is also a nice, technically clean setup. Beautiful uptrend here, of course, a bit of a correction, but then we broke above resistance and all the way up here. Now we pull back towards this broken level, and we see some signs that perhaps this may continue to the upside in the near future. So I'm going to add this one as well to our list, and perhaps one more for the one more CHCO, and I believe we had this one of the big gap. So this one we already discussed early on when we discussed, I believe, the level 3 pullback. Or perhaps we didn't. Maybe I forget. So here also we broke above resistance. Not my favorite though, because we have this big gap fill here. So this gap might be filled, and we may see a deeper correction here to fill at least this gap, perhaps all the way down to the support level. So I'll skip this one for now. And one more, Natural Resources and Partners. What do we have here? All right, let's have a quick look. It's a bit jumpy, this stock. Go back a little bit. Of course, a nice uptrend. We made all-time highs. Now we pulled back a little bit. Yeah, this could be an interesting one to consider as well. Now we'll pull. If this correction goes a little bit further down, I believe this could be an interesting candidate as well for entering long into this overarching long trend. All right, let me see if there are any questions. Kevin is asking for, Kevin, we're gonna get to is your symbols in a bit. All right. Okay. Well, I guess these are the most interesting setups of today. And now let's review them quickly, one by one, to see if you have any favorites. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up all the filters, and I'm going to open up the watch list that we just created. So setups 2024, December 14. So how many do we have? We have nine symbols. So let's go through these one by one. So let's start with Viking Therapeutics. Currently in a long bounce scenario directly here, it's a long-term bullish stock of 511 trading days. But yeah, do we have a liquidity capture? Yeah, we did have a liquidity capture at the most recent bar. And potentially, yeah, we may see a bit of a bounce here. I believe that this correction that we're in right now is not over yet, and we may even see some more downside action. But if you want to be aggressive, yeah, you could bet on the fact that price may bounce towards the middle of this zone. But it's not my favorite setup for this week. But everybody can have its own preference. Next one, Eli Lilly. Yes, so in light of the fundamentals, which a user shared with us, we're also going to shy away from this one. Pharmaceuticals are notorious for being a bit unpredictable. If a new medication is approved or disapproved, it may cause giant jumps in the stock. So we're going to skip this one as well. Hartford Financials. This one I like a lot. It's a beautiful, beautiful uptrend. Look at this one here. Very nice. And we are trading towards the lower end of this trend channel. If you just draw it here quickly like this. In addition to all this, we do have a level 4 pullback, and we are trading near support zone. So here really everything comes together. So to me, definitely an interesting stock. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one for sure. So I'm going to add this to our trade notes here. And you know what? I'm just going to put, without saying anything, I'm just going to add the screenshot to our trade notes. A picture says more than 1,000 words, as you guys may know. And if you didn't know yet, if you add this screenshot to your notes, first of all, this screenshot will stay the way it is when you took it. So now we took it today. Even if new bars roll in next week or the week after, this screenshot in your trade notes will always stay the way it is, the way you took it on that day. So no new bars will be added here. That's one. And secondly, and you can see it here, if you have any annotations on your chart, these will be added to your screenshot as well. So that's pretty cool. All right. So I'm going to close this down as an interesting candidate. Republic Services. All right. What do we have here? Long break retrace. Yes, an interesting one. I wonder, we already have a node here. We can see it here. When did we take that node? On the 26th of October. What did we see here? Limit long entry at 198 with a target of 206. So back in October, let's just have a quick look. October 26th, where was that? And that was before the screenshot feature was available. So somewhere here, look at this, beautiful. And at this point, in October, during our trading session, it actually was in a bounce state near the support level. And it worked out, of course, beautifully since then. So yeah, pretty cool. I like this one too. So let's just annotate this one as well as a long zone break retrace case here as well. So I'm going to add this trade node here. So this is our previous node from, what did I say? Was this the 6th of November? Where did I see October? Whatever. This might be a small bug here. So I'm going to add a new trade node, and I'm going to add this screenshot to it. I'm going to demo to you real quick also another feature of this dashboard. Do you see this little arrow here? This allows you to navigate through your trade nodes. So today is December 14, but if you want to see what were the previous nodes, click here, and it'll go automatically to the last node prior to today, which was recorded. And then you can go back and forth that way. And also below the chart here, do you see these little two things here? That's an indication of how many trade nodes you have at a glance. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's cool. GLP. So here, honestly, I would wait until the stock goes down a little bit further towards the zone. I do think there might be some additional downside action. This may become a level 4 pullback. If it does, an interesting candidate for sure to enter long into this trade. So if we perhaps go, let me see, where are my rectangles? I'm always a bit confused with certain things on here. Boy, is it up here? I guess so. No. 1 second, guys. Where's my rectangle here? Nicholas, do you know? Oh, there we go. Rectangle. Okay, so if we get, I think, towards this level here, this could be an interesting entry point. And actually, in fact, what I look for, I'm gonna look for additional pullback, perhaps towards this level here. If we get it, I'll be interested in going long the stock. But for now, we're gonna stay on our sidelines. I'm just gonna add this one to our trade notes as well. There we go. All right. Okay, close it. All right. Cintas Corporation. Yes, this one we already had. I'm gonna keep it the way it is. We reviewed this one in our lunch and learn last Tuesday. It's still completely valid setup. Interesting one. Zone break retrace. And yeah, so this trade stays the way it is with our stop loss just below the zone here at around, where is it? 730. No. Oh, yeah, 700. What? No. 1 second. How do I even see my stop loss here? It's a bit hard to see. This is an annotation that comes with Trading View. So if I go to the settings here, just 1 second, we can see our stop loss is at 700. What? Oh, ticks. Got it. I was wondering what's 730? At 201 is our stop loss and our target at 225. Okay, cool. That makes more sense. So I'm gonna keep this the way it is. Arista Networks. Yes, that's an interesting one. So here, definitely I'd be interested to see if this zone break will propel this stock to new all-time high. So definitely an interesting one. And we're gonna add this to our annotation. So I believe here, if we do have an arrow in here, no. So I believe this will continue in the upside direction. So let's add a trade note here. New trade note. I'm gonna add this symbol, and I believe this might be a nice stock which will continue to rise, especially since we had the zone break to the upside on Friday, I believe after earnings. All right, good one. Sensora, let's have a look at this one. Yeah. Why did I pick this one? Oh, a level 4 pullback. Yeah. Interesting one. I'm gonna stay on the sidelines because I believe there's more downside action to come. The support level is still a bit further away here at 220. If we see further downside action and price actually gets to here, I'll be looking for a bounce similar to this one. Yeah. So that would be an interesting level to watch. But for now, I'm going to stay on the sidelines for this. And last one, Arthur J. Gallagher. Yeah. A deep correction after we broke above resistance here. A bit too deep for my taste. Of course, it is a level for a pullback. And if you believe that, hey, this uptrend will continue, you might enter into it, but I think there might be a bit more downside action to come. Actually, we are close to the support level. I just don't like the fact that we were above resistance here. Now we went all the way down. But you know what? It could be an interesting one. I'm going to add this one as well to our interesting setups for this week. We do have this level for pullback and we are near support. So let's add this one as well. So here, new one. I'm going to just add the screenshot here. One picture says more than 1,000 words. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's about it from my side. Let's see what other questions coming in. Nicholas, do we have a couple of interesting questions?
Yeah, sure. So we have one from Moshi who says, when a long bounce occurs, and I'm not sure what he means by this, but when a long bounce happens, would you be able to add a candle identifier to know the trend has returned? So maybe like an alert for when a bounce has started to happen.
Yeah, and or when the trend is actually resuming. That's an interesting one. So basically what you're looking for, if I go use this as an example, Marshy, is to here we are clearly in a bounce, but you want to see some confirmation that the bounce is actually happening, perhaps some movement of price away from the zone. Could be a good idea. I need to think about how we could quantify this, but yeah, potentially. I'm gonna note this down as something to consider. Yeah.
Perfect. And we have a comment from Ku who says it's interesting volume IQ not as important for higher time frames.
Well,
We don't have volume IQ here on the dashboard, but I definitely wouldn't say it's not. I think it's
yeah,
an equal amount of importance across any time frame.
yeah. And we may, that's of course a longer term project, may add our brand new volume IQ indicator to this dashboard as well, but that's in the future. So and of course, why is it not in the dashboard? Because it's a brand new indicator. We we just rolled it out for the actual TradingView platform. But yeah, we may, big question mark, add it to the dashboard as well, if
Perfect.
possible.
And we have a question. We have a comment from Daniel, who's mentioned, I think we were looking at a symbol that was technically a partnership. And he says something here about tax reports that you should take into account. I think if you're holding positions of these types of symbols, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not a tax lawyer, but and I guess it also depends on which jurisdiction you're in. But yeah, okay.
Perfect. And Gerd, I think, has a symbol request. It's written in German. If you could take a look at that.
Yeah,
And
WMT.
And while you're looking at that, I'll just read from Aubrey. From a probability perspective, do you think a zone break, retracement, bounce, so either of these setups, is better bouncing off the higher green box or the lower red box?
Yeah, this is where the statistics will come in. We don't, I wouldn't know, but this is exactly the kind of insights I would love to extract once we have these statistics implemented. So that's coming. Right now, that's all speculation, but yeah, we'll see once we have the statistics what the insights will be. I'm super excited about all this. So these statistics, the seasonality, which we are trying to add, and the additional symbol. So 2 or 3 big items coming up for 2025. So here, Walmart, yeah, super bullish. A bit of a retracement, level 1 pullback. Not enough of a pullback for me. I'd love to see something like this to even consider entering long into Walmart. So yeah, too expensive for my taste right now. And SAP, do we have that one? Okay, let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, here a long break, a break above resistance 8 bars ago. And now we are trading near this level. We did have a bit of a pullback right here. So went up. Let me just hide Emmy Rush real quick. So went up, down a bit, and now it looks like, yeah, this overarching long trend may resume. And yeah, definitely an interesting candidate to potentially consider a long trade here. I agree. All right. What
Oh,
else do we
that's a
have?
good comment here from an anonymous user. We have a couple other symbols to look at too, but they wrote, if you had a column that could show something like insider buying. So I don't know if that's available from an API, from filings, but that's cool.
It could be, yeah. That goes into the area of you're probably a former user of Johnny Savile, or a current user, I would hope. He's a great guy, a great partner of us, by the way, Acorn Wealth and Johnny Savile. And yeah, something to consider. So 2025. What else do we have?
We have some symbol requests. We had one before from I forget the name, but it was for GBP JPY, so Forex.
G Oh, the pound. Okay, so let's
Yen.
see.
Yeah.
GBP yen. All right. Okay, long-term bullish. I guess the yen really lost a lot of value against many pairs. So let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So very long-term bullish. See a bit of a correction, and we are actually in a magnet zone right now for quite some time in between support and resistance. But yeah, if I had to bet where price will go next, I would say, hey, price is going to approach the level around 200 or 299, exactly where this resistance level is. So this was a correction within this bullish trend. These zones are often magnets or act as magnets. They're attracting price, and Emmy Rush is bullish. Trend Radar is bullish. Looks like that price will, if I had to make a call, approach this level around here, around 200.
Perfect. And do we already look at AFLAC, Daniel? We did, right? AFL? That was
Eh,
a bounce from Moshi he mentioned. I think we might have
yeah,
already checked
did
it.
we?
Maybe
Yeah,
not.
it's a nice bounce. Did we look at it? I believe so. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, definitely interesting one too. We just bounced off. Oh, I think we did when we discussed liquidity captures at some point. So yeah, price bounced off this resistance level beautifully with a liquidity capture, now down here at support again. We've been here for 5 trading days for the full last week. Level 4 pullback as per trend radar. And yeah, could be an interesting candidate to see if there's another bounce coming off the support level towards resistance up here on 115.
Perfect. And can we take a look at a couple more symbols, Daniel?
Yeah.
And while we're at it, Gerald wants to know, can you show again how to make and retrieve notes or maybe enable them in the first place?
Yeah. If you don't see this little icon, the notes icon next to your symbol, you will first need to enable it. You can do this with the settings here. Go to your settings wheel, open it up, and enable trade notes is this one here. So if it's disabled, you won't see it. But once you enable trade notes, this one here, you will see the little notes icon next to it. Yeah.
And we have a symbol request for GEV first.
GEV. All right. We don't have it. Is it the right one? Is this the right spelling?
GEV. Yeah, that is the right spelling. So it looks like we just don't have that symbol right now in the universe, Andrew, in our stock universe. And Aubrey wants to look at CAH.
Oh yeah, Cardinal Health. All right, this one for sure we had a few times on our trade of the week. And actually, let me see, what did we do here in our beautiful trade notes? November 11th, we said, okay, limit entry 118, target 127. Okay, so where was that? November 11th, just out of my own curiosity. Around here. Yeah, price is still like in that range. So here, I guess I was betting on the fact that it's going to be a zone break. Price is going to continue. What we see right now is a bit of a zone break retrace back to this uh, broken resistance level. And we may see a bounce to the upside to come. Yeah. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. It's a long-term bullish stock for 679 trading days. And if we do see some confirmation that this bullish move will continue, will bounce off this support level here, definitely something of interest to consider.
Perfect. And we have two other symbol requests now. We have
Yeah.
MRVL and then Palantir. So MRVL to start.
MRVL Marvel. Yeah, bullish for 380 trading days. Long break above resistance 28 days ago. No pullback. Yeah. If you're in that stock, enjoy the ride, as the option professor would say. If you're not, I would not buy it right now. It's too expensive. It's too extended. If you see a pullback, perhaps to this gap fill here, it could be an interesting candidate.
Cool. And then the last one was Palantir.
Yeah,
Actually, Palantir and then one more Upstart. So
all right.
Palantir.
Oh boy. Yeah, too extended to me. If we see a pullback, so this is exactly where you don't want to enter. All green, price way above the averages, the means. Wait for a pullback of this sort, and then potentially enter. I guess it's on the Bitcoin hype. And real quick, out of my own interest, let's see what Bitcoin is doing from a technical point of view. All right. Yeah. Wow, Jesus, Bitcoin. It's crazy. It doesn't look like big bars here because it's all like normalized, I guess, in the chart. But these bars are massive. Look at the size of some of these crazy bars. This bar here went all the way up to 103,000 and down to 92. That's $10,000 of a move. Unbelievable. But yeah, so I shy away. If we see a pullback, yeah, on trend radar, maybe consider entering long Bitcoin as well. If you buy into the thesis that it's gonna hit 150,000 by June, because historically, after halving, which is something that this cryptocurrency goes through every 4 years, where they make it twice as hard to mine Bitcoins. So this happens every 4 years. And historically, it was shown that after halving, I think the price will go up 3 times within the next 18 months. So it will increase by a multiple of 3. And if this is the case, then it will be at 150 in June 2015. So we're gonna look out for that.
Awesome.
All right, and real quick, there was one more, I guess.
Sure, yeah. So the last one was UPST.
Okay, UPST. UPST. Oops, Upstart.
And Aubrey said she actually went long on CAH using Liquidity IQ. So nice. Congratulations so far.
So far, yes, let's hope it works out. Yeah, it's a short bounce. So here, I mean, I definitely would not enter long at this moment here. We do have, we are right at resistance, and we did have a liquidity capture, which may signal, hey, it's gonna bounce off this level towards the middle in between. So here I would hold on. I also would not go short, I guess, because we are quite bullish, at least in recent history here since summer. Oh boy, what a big move, huh? 27 all the way to 80. We'll see what happens. If we break above this level, maybe it's going to be another push higher, but this is already very overextended. Look how far we are away from the averages. All right, guys. Okay, cool. I think that's pretty much it. A nice round table. And let me just quickly remind you by going back to the slides that the download of the ebook is available. Simply go to tradingindicators.com/power-of-3. The recording of this session will be posted on our YouTube page tonight, or at the latest tomorrow morning. And if you're interested in a free trial of our dashboard, simply go to tradingindicators.com/view. That link is also in the chat. And one last thing, if you have not watched our awesome reveal of our volume IQ indicator in our tech talk, the recording, and I need to fix this typo here, recording is available at tradingindicators.com/volume. And this link is also in the chat. With this, guys, I wish you all a great Saturday afternoon. I'm going to head off to my weekly soccer game now, which I'm looking forward to. And I hopefully see you all next Tuesday when there is another lunch and learn session. All right. With that, guys, I enjoyed the session very much. Thank you for all your feedback. If we have overlooked something, please send me a note through our contact form on our homepage. It's going to go straight to my inbox, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. And also, Kevin, I saw your questions. Please put them by email, and we can review these together next week. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, Nicholas, for helping out. Thanks, Homa. And talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.